thank all fans in attendance tonight and every night for another great show of support. Budweiser wants to remember there's more great games waiting, so please enjoy responsibly. Calgary Flames back at our Scotiabank Saddledome on Monday night when we take on the Pittsburgh Penguins. Note the game time is 7 o'clock. Head to calgaryflames.com for all your ticket information. On behalf of all of us, my name is Beasley, saying so long and enjoy your evening and weekend. Right now, Brendan Parker and Ryan Dittrick are standing by with the Ram post-game show brought to you by your Alberta Ram dealers.
Winning Motor Trend Truck of the Year 3 times in a row? That had never been done before. Then again, neither had a 12-inch touchscreen or 1,000 pound-feet of torque. Never been done before. It's just kind of our thing.
Welcome inside the postgame show. Flames postgame live brought to you by Ram Truck, winner of Motor Trend Truck of the Year for the third year in a row. Brendan Parker alongside Ryan Dittrick as we break down a Calgary Flames loss here tonight on home ice, 4-2 the final against the Winnipeg Jets in a closely contested contest. Find the game winner inside the final 5 minutes here at the Scotiabank Saddledome tonight. And maybe first of all, before we get into what we saw in terms of highlights, entertainment value was high tonight, but what did you make of tonight's hockey game?
I mean, how many times this year have we seen the Flames jump out to that early start and kind of keep the pedal down for the course of the game? And for the first 10 minutes, it kind of looked like it was going to follow that same script, but credit the Winnipeg Jets because they stuck around just enough, got that goal to make it 2-1. And, you know, this is a team that came in losing 5 in a row and were really feeling down on themselves after getting beat down pretty bad yesterday in Minnesota, too. So for them to be able to stick around and have a goaltending performance the way they did, I mean, that's kind of what you have to chalk it up to as well, because the Flames played excellent in that third period, peppered Connor Hellebuck, just couldn't get that go-ahead goal. Yeah,
just looking at the third period alone, shot 16-8 in the final frame, and it kind of felt like things were heavy in terms of momentum in one side of the ice. But that's how often it can go if you don't find a way to bury and capitalize on a few of your chances. A lot of times one of them ends up in the back of your net. So let's take a look at how it all went down tonight and start with our first period highlights, and at least run through what we saw so far through this hockey game. And it starts early. In fact, the first shift of the game, a couple of really good chances, which sets up this offensive zone face-off. And then a beautiful pass from Johnny Gaudreau setting up Matthew Tkachuk here for his 10th of the season.
Yeah, we had a little bit of a debate. Was Johnny Gaudreau looking for Matthew Tkachuk, or was he trying to put it maybe into the feet of Connor Hellebuck? It doesn't really matter. He knows exactly where that's going, and obviously Matthew Tkachuk finishes. But by the way, you said it off the top. A tone-setting shift right off the opening faceoff from that Coleman line set the stage for the top line to take to the ice.
Yeah, and that's just 26 seconds into the hockey game. You got yourself a 1-0 lead, 17th first goal of the season for the Calgary Flames, and it was followed up by this power play marker. Elias Lindholm, Johnny on the spot, starts with the offensive zone faceoff.
Doing what he does best, right place, right time. And again, I think this was all of 6 seconds into the power play, so getting the job done very quickly. And again, it's 2-0. Flames had 2 goals at this point. I think the Winnipeg Jets had iced the puck more than the Flames were able to put it inside the net. So excellent start, no complaints.
Yeah, slanted for sure at that point, for sure for the Calgary Flames. But as we heard from Elias Lindholm in that first intermission, there was some pushback from the Jets, and they got a goal to show for it, and it comes courtesy Kyle Connor, who leads his team with now 13 markers at this point in the game.
And he came in quiet into the night too. Blake Wheeler, Mark Scheifele not finding the net as often as they usually do. So a little bit of a grinding shift there. Maybe the matchup didn't quite work out the way Daryl Sutter wanted it to. Yeah, just gave the Jets a little bit of life at a time that they needed it.
So now we fast forward into the second period, and this is the goal that ends up tying the hockey game. Paul Stastny on the rebound. He had a chance earlier in that period, but was stoned by Jacob Markstrom. But this one does find the back of the net for his 5th of the year. Kyle
Connor, Nikolai Ehlers, lots of snipers on this Jets team, but they also have guys like Paul Stastny who can really get to the tough areas. He's got 5 now in 13 games this year, 2nd game back from an injury, so looks like he's returning to form.
So that's the situation as we enter the third period. Some good energy in the building. We talked about the momentum swings, and yet so quickly it ends up in the back of the net here on a one-timing pass that Kyle Connor finishes off for his 2nd of the game.
You like the gap that the Flames defense have there, but you can see the forwards behind the play in the middle of a change. That allows Blake Wheeler to join late. You see that there. He finds the seam, and Kyle Connor, I mean, what can you say? That's an absolutely perfect shot, labeled for the short side. He hasn't scored 40 yet in his career, but he's been on pace. The pause kind of ruined that a couple years ago. I think he's going to get close to that mark this year.
Yeah, well, that's 14 right there, and one back of the Calgary Flames team leader, and Andrew Mangiapane, who has 15. Andrew Kopp seals it into the empty netter with a minute right on the nose left in this hockey game. So the empty netter is the insurance marker 4-2 the final. And as mentioned, we talked about the third period, 16-8 were the shots in favor of the Flames. You know, you could go through some of the higher danger chances. They were in favor of the Flames too. Overall 36-28, but in the end it is Winnipeg finding a way to get it done. I mean, what did you see in the third period, though, prior to the goal? Some of the looks, some of the chances the Flames had.
Well, you raised a good point because Hall of Famer, Flames legend Jarome Iginla in the house, and that seemed to, man, that really got this place buzzing. And it seemed like the Flames really fed off that energy in the minutes afterward. Yeah. But to me, this all comes down to Connor Hellebuyck. We said it off the top. This is a guy that got the early pull yesterday in Minnesota. They got behind big time, 4 goals on 15 shots, I believe it was. So he was spitting fire after the game a little bit too, promised that his team would be better, and he was. I mean, the Flames have seen what the product of good goaltending can do for your team this year, obviously, with the way Jacob Markstrom and Dan Vladar have been playing. Connor Hellebuyck did it for his team tonight, and sometimes you just got to tip your cap to the opponent.
Yeah, well, without a doubt. I mean, there's been many oppositions through the first 20 games that have said the same about Jacob Markstrom, Dan Vladar for sure. Tonight it goes the other way. I want to take it back to a moment in this game, crucial. We talked about penalty kill, a number of times. I think we have it in our need to know right off the top tonight. Flames penalty kills ranked 3rd right now in the National Hockey League, and they've been good. But a couple of real crucial spots. One at the end of the first period. It's a 2-1 hockey game. You find a way to kill that penalty off at the end of the first to kind of keep momentum on your side, and then the second one comes in the form of that 5-minute major, and Milan Lucic's shown the gate, so you get 5 minutes to kill it off, and this penalty kill continues to do its job.
Oh, they've been aggressive all year, and that really has been the calling card for this team. They're not giving teams an opportunity to break in clean, and if you can disrupt the setup right at the start like that, I mean, you're just setting yourself up for success. But in this case, we're talking about a 5-minute kill. This takes a pretty serious amount of commitment to be able to hold that up for the course of that duration, but they managed to do it. You see it right there. Mark Scheifele bobbles the puck just enough, and what happens? He's got 2 guys on him. The puck goes into an area where there is no support. Trevor Lewis with the easy clear. And here's some of those zone entries we're talking about. The Flames all collapse on the puck carrier and make it impossible for them to get across the line. So that was the lone chance they got there, but it really was the only time over the course of 5 minutes that they actually got the puck set up in the offensive zone.
Well, that's part of it, right, is you don't let them set up, and the weapons can't get to work in that offensive zone. Flames did a good job of that, and when you talk about, obviously there was the penalty kill there, that just kind of sets up what would lead into a power play at the end of it, because it was Trevor Lewis that ends up drawing the penalty right at the end of that 5-minute major. So you not only kill it off, you end up turning it into a power play, generate some momentum into the third, which they did feed on, obviously, as we've touched on, just weren't able to capitalize on some of the chances. Maybe just quickly before we hear from head coach Daryl Sutter, we saw him walk by. You talked about Kyle Connor. You have some experience, obviously seeing the Jets a few times before, but we're seeing some high-end flashes here from Kyle Connor in the early part of the year. Leads the team in points, leads the team in goals. What stood out to you about his early work?
Everything that you saw in that highlight pack. That's the way he scores goals. I mean, there are a lot of players that we talk so often about how do you score in the NHL these days? Well, you get to those tough areas and you find the garbage goals that we saw out of Paul Stastny this year. Not Kyle Connor. He's a sniper, and obviously that game-winning goal, that's a position he likes to be in. Blake Wheeler makes the pass from the high slot. You kind of figure for a second that he might be a little too far to the outside. But when you got a release like that, I mean, Jacob Markstrom, what can you say in that situation? He doesn't have a whole lot of hope of getting over. He tried, but that just happened to be in that top corner of the net.
Yeah, without a doubt. Maybe let's go to the podium now. Head coach Daryl Sutter is there. He is ready to give some post-game reaction to a 4-2 loss at the hands of the Winnipeg Jets. Let's hear from head coach Daryl Sutter now.
This game, you guys had a pretty good lead going into the second, obviously.
We had a 2-1 lead going in the second. Thought we played a really good game. I think we made a couple mistakes and they ended up in our net. We didn't finish enough opportunities. I don't know if we'll break it down. I'd say we outchanced them by quite a bit.
So say, how big a role did Connor Hellebuck play in that result?
Well, I'll tell you this about Connor Hellebuck. He was pulled in the first period yesterday. He's probably one of the top 3 or 2 goalies in the league. So played a pretty good game. You knew that was coming.
Did you get a chance to take a look at the Lucic hit in the second period?
Yeah, I just looked at it quick between periods there to make sure because I have it on the bench too, and the reason that they called him majors is because they say that 2 was hurt, so he really wasn't hurt.
Is that what they call Toronto?
Yeah, because it's they're called. It's part of it, right, Eric? So they're going to call it a minor for boarding, and then they call Toronto to deem it. But if they deem he's injured, then they call it a 5.
Nothing they can do when Melo obviously comes back in the third period.
Pardon?
And there's nothing, obviously,
No.
nothing that can be done when he comes back.
What was your opinion of the hit?
Pardon?
What was your opinion of the hit?
I think that Melo tried to turn back, and Luch made contact. About this, sir. So to me, it's a minor penalty.
Did Markstrom look like himself tonight?
Yeah, I thought he was pretty good. I think we were really, I thought we had a really good start. It was something we talked about the last couple of days, and then we had the 2 penalties that we had to kill, and I think he made some big saves that kept it that close. And then the goal that they scored, to make it 2-1 was we got caught out too long after we'd won the face-off. Puck should have been out of the zone.
Coming into the game, you mentioned Winnipeg being a good face-off team. Are you happy with the way that your team, I think 57% at 5-5?
You know what? Face-offs are about possession. So if somebody's getting cleaned, that means his line's getting cleaned.
You didn't get the goal you needed, but that power play in the third, you certainly did everything
We had
but score.
as I said, we had lots of opportunities to break the tie or to go up by 2. We just didn't finish, and that's an issue.
You hung around. You guys were in it the whole time. I mean, do you feel like there's lots to build on? Like it's you've done so much good things.
Yeah, we still need 4 lines to score, and we still need our defense to, especially our young guys, to be able to handle the physical part of big teams. That's a veteran offensive team over there, and that's going to compete like hell to score, and you got to have guys that can play that same way against them.
Okay.
Good enough?
Thank you.
Yep.
We call it the Ram 1500 Limited. But, truth be told, there's nothing limited about it. Ram 1500, winner, J.D. Power Award for Best Driver Appeal.
Flames post-game live brought to you by Ram Truck, winner of Motor Trend Truck of the Year for the 3rd year in a row. Heard some comments there from head coach Daryl Sutter, and maybe first let's just kick that around. What did you hear from the head coach? Anything stand out in terms of the post-game comments here tonight?
Yeah, nothing out of the ordinary other than he had to tip his cap to Connor Hellebuck, and I hate to go back to that, but it certainly was a key storyline for tonight too. And he had to be good because we talked about the importance of that 5-minute penalty kill. That was one of those moments in the game that can really sway momentum in your favor, and it did. The Flames took over in that third period and did everything right, just ran into a hot goalie. So really not much to complain about when you look at that third period. Just couldn't get the go-ahead goal, and just one of those nights.
And the other thing I'll submit is something that we even heard from Elias Lindholm is the emphasis on the start tonight, coming out of that 3-day. We've talked about this. We'll say break. It's not really a break.
Yeah, there was 1 day off.
One day off, and there you end up and you skate in the middle of it. So it's not, but some downtime. At least an opportunity to get away from the grind of the every other day game action. Nevertheless, the emphasis, you heard it from the players. Now you've heard it from the head coach. That was something they've talked about a lot over the last couple of days, and something they, quite frankly, accomplished in the early part of this hockey game.
Absolutely. We were sitting here watching this game, really curious to see how those opening few minutes would go because, like you said, only a couple of days off. They did only get one practice in there. Yesterday was an off-ice workout here at the Saddle Dome, so not a whole lot that really needed refining in terms of their game. They were coming off a pretty solid stretch. But some of those opportunities when you get back in after a bit of a break, and maybe some of the rust factor creeps in sometimes. And we didn't see any of that. The Flames didn't dip their toe in the water at all, took control from the start. In this case, it really had nothing to do with them letting their foot off the gas. They just had an angry team on the other side that woke up and started to fight their way back into it.
Situational, for sure. All right, let's go back into the press room, so to speak, and hear from a couple members of the Calgary Flames. I believe I saw Matthew Tkachuk walk by. Who else was there? Elias Lindholm. Okay, so we got a couple of goal scorers there tonight at the podium, Matthew Tkachuk and Elias Lindholm. Let's listen in.
You guys had a 2-0 lead, and I guess it might be easy to say that you let one slip away, but it was kind of a close game the whole way through.
Yeah, it was pretty close. We probably had the better of the chances throughout the whole game, I would say. But I think it's all about momentum, and they got one at the end of the first, gave them momentum. They carried that over to the second, got one. I'd say if they probably had us more in the second, then our kill did a great job there and kind of gained us more momentum and had better of the chances early in the third or most of the third, and then the 3-2 goal kind of 4 minutes to go. That's a tough one.
What role did Connor Hellebuyck play in that result?
Yeah, he had a good game, I think. I think, some of those could have gone in, but he had a pretty good game.
Are these games difficult in the sense that Darryl was just talking about the opportunities that didn't go in for you guys. Is that kind of a difficult game to swallow when your attempts didn't all go the way you wanted them to?
Yeah, I think in the third we're pushing hard for the third one, but just didn't go our way tonight. And obviously, like Chucky said, they got one with 4 minutes left, which is, I think all of us on the ice there could have done a better read. But that's just the way it goes sometimes.
Elias, the penalty kill has been so effective for this group so far this season. What are you guys doing on the ice that you think is doing such a good job negating time and space for the other team?
I think we're all on the same page. I think when someone pressure, everyone goes and so on. And I think we make it hard for the other team to enter the zone. And I think overall we just have good chemistry out there and read off each other.
Matt, I know you're a guy that doesn't like to lose, obviously, and there hasn't been a lot of that this season. How do you sort of bounce back? It seems like we ask that every time you guys lose, but just how do you sort of bounce back, I guess?
Well, try to take some of the positives from this one, even though the outcome sucks right now. But at the end of the day, we just got to find a way to get that one to overtime or try to get two before that. But can't lose that one in regulation. Those ones hurt. So learn from it, and those are the games that don't sit too well with you. So just need to. I'm not a huge believer in parking games. I think that need to learn from it and make sure that when we're in that position, being tied going late in the third, that's a pretty good position to be and have a chance to get a point, maybe two. We'll take that. So just put ourselves in that position, hopefully have the lead and bear down and win some hockey games.
Did you guys think of that moment when Jerome came out and waved to the crowd?
It was awesome.
Yeah, it was cool.
Really cool. Haven't heard the building like that in a while, so maybe need him to come to the games more.
Okay, we'll wrap it up there. Practice tomorrow.
obviously this is what kind of spurred it on. A little game-winning action from Tuesday night, and then here's the action from tonight. What have you seen lately, though, from Matthew Tkachuk, now up to 10 goals on the year?
Man, he's been good. And, you know, going back to something that we've talked about a few times on this post-game show, Matthew Tkachuk is one of those players that laid a foundation in training camp. And we thought, okay, this is a great stretch. Let's see how he responds when the season gets going. He's been great right from the drop of the puck and has been elevating his game ever since. The fact is, guys like Johnny Gaudreau, Elias Lindholm, they've been getting a ton of credit, as they should, being at the top of the scoring charts, but he's been there, and he's been clutch the last few games, too. I think he was involved in a couple of those mad scrambles late in the third period as well, so he's around it, and that's all you can ask of your top players. You can sense, obviously, based on those interviews, there's no moral victories with this team. They're not happy about it, but that's exactly what you want out of your top players right now.
Absolutely, and as Matthew so greatly put it, just about the position being tied 2-2 and late in the third period, those are the spots you want to be in more often than not, you know, in competitive games like this one, and two good teams going at it, so, you know, you just got to find a way to convert them. He touched on it right at the very end there. Nice little moment in the third period. Jerome McGinley, I believe, in town coaching his Rink Academy hockey team, the U16 team. This ovation. Just maybe let it pause here for a second just to hear the crowd, because it was fantastic.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the Sea of Red, your Hockey Hall of Famer, number 12, Jerome.
Very cool stuff from number 12 back in the building. Obviously, we were there in Toronto for some of the Hall of Fame festivities as well. A moment greatly deserved here, and I think the best part about it is the fact that kind of caught everybody off guard, even us down here. We weren't aware of it, so tip of the cap to everybody who made that moment possible. Obviously, with his hockey team there, some respect. He was always joking about trying to convince some of his players that I could score some goals. Like, I don't know.
We saw him in the Classic, or the Legends Classic game in Toronto. I think he still
got it. Yeah, he still got it.
By the way, Beasley too. That was celebrating 25 years.
25 years.
Hearing that iconic call again, doesn't that just bring back memories?
So mad props to our game presentation team, because they got a pair of surprises into the into this evening, because I don't think Beasley had any idea about the 25th anniversary video as well. So well done to Steve Edgar, Jordy McLeod, all the guys down there. Travis, awesome. Really cool moment. And obviously, as the guy said, huge ovation. Building was really buzzing at that point. Everybody kind of fed off of it. Anything else we want to touch on before we finish up here tonight? I think we kind of covered off most of it, but I think just mostly the fact that, I mean, this team, we've talked about the busy stretch, but I think Darryl pointed out this morning, 2 games in 8 days, and, you know, obviously you got Monday night to finish off this 3-game homestand here.
A little bit of a strange schedule tomorrow. A little bit of a later practice. Calgary Hitmen are on the ice here in the morning at the Saddle Dome, so looking to
and we're on the ice, by the way, this afternoon, too. So
that's right. So a lot happening here at the Saddle Dome, that's for sure. So, no, I mean, you get back to work tomorrow. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of eyeballs in the game Monday night. Sidney Crosby always are. But, yeah, he's okay, I guess. But, you do what you did. You take what you did in that third period. I know the players are not going to be happy about it because they didn't come out with any points tonight. But that's kind of the template that we've seen out of this team more often than not this year. So just get right back on the horse.
Well said. And before we leave you here tonight, I wanted to get in a quick Movember update. Knowing that we are at the end of the month, we've seen a few good dusters in the building, and just wanted to, any chance we can really get to show off this beautiful graphic and imagery that presents a much more accomplished mustache than the one that is currently residing on my upper lip.
I disagree, but
$375. So you can still head over to Movember.ca, search my name there, and if you wish to donate, I would happily take your support, and we'd add it to the total. Corey Sarich, another one of our Flames analysts, he's got a team, and you know, there's a few good mustaches. I don't think anyone can compete with Eric O'Brienson, though. That thing looks like
that is impeccable.
He was born to wear a mustache.
Yeah,
I'm not afraid to say.
Rumors, he may have gotten a little bit of a head start there, but I'm not calling him out. I'm just,
he openly admits it. But to his credit,
yeah,
he did say that if you're going to rock it, you know, it makes more sense just to have the mustache prevalent and perfect right from the start, which maybe I'll start to take. I might have to start
I didn't want to make assumptions, but, you know, it's December 1st. I was hoping that, you know, we're going to be on a plane going to Los Angeles at that point. I am hoping, like you wouldn't believe, that you're going to have a clean face, because I personally have had
Yeah,
enough.
Well, let's just say that
Have you had
my wife is at this point, she is rooting for December and hoping she's just going to fast forward. As Ed Robertson, he just pointed out in my ear that I better start in August next year. So I appreciate that. Ed, thanks for that. All right, well, that does it for Flames Post Game Live. Thanks to Dietz for jumping on. And, an interesting game here tonight. Entertaining, full value on both sides of it. But in the end, it is a Winnipeg Jets victory here tonight. Is the final score 4-2 in favor of the Jets. But they'll re-rack it and come right back here at the Scotiabank Saddledome, right back into that every other day type schedule because in just a couple of days' time, they'll play host to Sidney Crosby and the Pittsburgh Penguins Monday night, 7 p.m. at the Scotiabank Saddledome to round out this 3-game homestand. Jerome McGinley in the building tonight, the Hockey Hall of Famer. Great atmosphere. Salute to Beasley. We'll see you on Monday night, Flames TV Live.